Namaste. Jai Shivai. A lot of people who come to the spiritual side of life, when they move from a bhogi and they transition to becoming a yogi, so they often have a question: what is the purpose of life? Now, if I ask you a question, what is the purpose of your life? Then you may come up with lots of different people will come up with different answers. And some people may not come up with any answer whatsoever at all. So it's very hard to understand what is the purpose of life. So today I am not here to give you your purpose of life. I am here to help you with understanding it in a very scientific manner. Okay? So instead of understanding what is the purpose of your life, let's start with a bigger question. Okay? What's the purpose of everybody, the entire humanity? What's the purpose of everybody's life? What could be the purpose of everybody's life? What people are doing actually? What are they after? What is it truly that they are seeking by heart? One thing and only one thing: happiness. People go on doing this thing, that thing. Somebody is climbing a mountain. Somebody is sitting in their bedroom watching TV. Somebody is aspiring to become something else. Somebody has some other ambitions and some other motivations. But inherently, deep beneath all the different kinds of desires, there is only one thing. And that is seeking happiness. Everybody, whatever you are doing, through job, through relationships, through fulfilling your roles and duties and responsibilities, everybody is just seeking happiness. In other words, now let's look at happiness in a different way, from the opposite side of it. So in other words, we can say people are trying to remove suffering from their life. Right? So on one side, people go on seeking happiness. On the other side, they want to minimize or completely get rid of suffering that they have in their life. These are two main things that you will see with almost every human being. Now you may say that, no, I am an activist, I go on saving the world, I go on saving humanity, I go on saving environment, animals, this and that, and I go on being an activist for my country, for my community, for something else, then I am actually living for somebody else. No, you are not. There is no way for an Atma to do something for somebody else. It's a bitter truth. Without having something in return. Even if somebody is doing charity, they are doing it for their own satisfaction within. If somebody is guiding other people, they are doing it for their own satisfaction. They know that it's a good karma. So they go on accumulating good karma from lot of people in lot other ways. So still you are doing good for your own self. Even if you are helping or feeding the children or hungry children, or if you are working as an activist or social activist or somewhere else, or if you are in an army, you go on saving your country from enemies and you are on the front lines, still you are getting something in return, and that is what you want. It helps you to be happy in one way or the other. It helps you to remove suffering from your life in one way or the other. Everything that you are doing is resulting or is because of these two inherent desires, these two inherent purposes: to get happiness, to get more happiness, and to remove suffering from life. Everything that you do. Now I want you to do one exercise, a small exercise. Come up with things that defy these two principles, that defy this principle. From the people around you, from the people from your family members, from your school, from your college, from your office. Come up with examples where somebody is doing something which is neither giving him happiness nor reducing the suffering in his life. Come up with some examples. What is it that can ever be done in this world which defies this principle of life, this principle of Atma? Atma cannot do anything. Atma doesn't, if it's not about doing anything, then this body is not necessary at all. Can anybody ever do anything in life which is totally for somebody else? And there is nothing in there for you. No inner satisfaction which increases the happiness and reduces the suffering within. There is nothing in this world that anybody can ever do like that. Now you may say that charity is for others and teaching others, this giving jnana to others is there, that it is for other people and there is nothing for me in there. No, there always is. It could be about accumulating good karma. It could be about getting some sort of inner satisfaction. It could be about feeling fulfilled deep within. It could be about feeling meaningful in your life. Something must be there. Something will be there. It is not possible for you to do any karma, any action through intention, speech, or action in life. You cannot do anything that does not involve your own benefit, your Atma's own benefit. Nothing can be done. So the purpose of humanity, the purpose of your existence is nothing but to seek everlasting happiness and get rid of suffering permanently. And if this is the purpose, if this is the purpose of human existence, if this is the purpose of your life or anybody else's life, then how many people are successful? And why are people not being successful in their effort? People run after $1 million, but when they have it, they run for $1 billion. Initially, they run for love of their life. And soon, after a few years, the love fades out. And you start looking for something else then. People chase one ambition for a long time. And when they are there, they chase another one. So, is it that the pursuit of happiness or seeking an everlasting happiness is just some hokey-pokey dream that never gets fulfilled? No, it's not true. Is there really no way to reduce or get rid of suffering from your life totally? And where is it that people are making mistake? A lot of people make mistake. There is a Sanskrit sutra by Maharishi Patanjali that says that the first type of Buddhi, Pragya, first type of Buddhi, level of intellect that is needed to be successful in your effort for seeking an everlasting happiness and removing the suffering from your life permanently. The first level of Buddhi, the first level of intellect that is required is the ability to see dukkha as dukkha. Dukkha and its causes means ability to see suffering and the cause of suffering. That is the first qualification that is needed. Ability to see suffering and the causes of suffering. When people go for a relationship, do they see as cause of suffering? No, they don't. When people run for many houses and despite having lot of money and lot of wealth, they're still not sleeping peacefully at night and their body is full of anxiety, insomnia and whatnot. What went wrong? The only mistake that people make is, the first mistake that they make is, they are not able to see the samsara as cause of suffering. When you eat first piece of pie or first piece of chocolate cake, the taste that it may give you may be wonderful. If you like eating chocolate cakes, then the first piece when you are eating it, it may look like, wow, what a tasty piece of cake. But if you are eating 10th piece of cake, then you are actually feeling awful. If you are eating 20th piece of cake, then you feel like throwing up. Why? Just 20 minutes ago, the first piece that you were eating, you were feeling like, wow, and now you are suffering when you are eating the 20th piece of cake. Isn't that what happens with everything in life? In other words, if you run for sensory pleasure, sooner or later you are bound to suffer. Something that you loved to eat until yesterday, if given to you in large amount and is fed to you continuously, you will suffer, your body will suffer. It may become a disease. You may die as a result. There is no end to sensory pleasure. So running after them, what's the use? Isn't running after sensory pleasure the cause of dukkha, cause of suffering? Same thing is with relationships. Till the time each relationship, each relative, you are giving space to each other, it runs fine. The moment you step on other person's shoe, that relationship goes out of the window. It becomes a burden. Everyday burden. It becomes the cause of suffering. What happened? So the mistake that most of the people make while seeking happiness, and the reason most of the people just go on seeking happiness in multitude, in multi-dimensional way. People go on seeking happiness and removing suffering from their life. But what happens is exactly opposite. Right? What happens is exactly opposite. Suffering increases in life. Happiness, level of happiness goes down. Substantially down. So much down that if you see 50-year-olds around you, you will see they have become a very bitter and grumpy person. 40 to 60-year-old people are highly grumpy. They are on some kind of medication. They are on some psychiatrist consulting, this consulting, that counseling. This counseling is going on with them. Some bodily disease has happened to them. And they are not happy at all. They started their life in their 20s thinking that, if they do this, then they will be more happy. If they get this relationship, they'll be more happy. If they get $1 million, they'll be very happy. But it did not happen. It did not work out that way. What went wrong? The only thing that went wrong was understanding what truly gives happiness and what truly results in the causes of happiness. So sooner or later, sansari person or bhogi is bound to suffer, is bound to increase suffering and decrease happiness in their heart. It is bound to happen with all bhogis, all sansari people, and the reason for that is they are not able to see what are the causes of suffering truly. Yogi, the difference between the bhogi and yogi is yogi truly starts seeing the causes of suffering as they are. That's the reason he starts alienating himself, isolating himself or herself from the samsara. He or she no longer is running after any worldly pleasure, not running after relationships on the name of love, on the name of emotional security, financial security, physical security, and whatnot. Not running after money and 1 house or 10 house or 5 house or 3 cars and whatnot. Because they have truly understood. Yogis start understanding this very fact that senses are not the cause of happiness or are the cause of happiness, but it's not something you can run after for forever. Senses will become weak, body will become old, and the 10th piece of cake is not going to taste like the first piece of cake. The way you will ever love the first person in your life, you will never love any other person in your life. That very way. Yeah, you may live with them, you may increase the dimension or the playground with them, but the way you love first person, one person in your life, you do not love anybody else in your life. So there's no way. These are not the ways to seek happiness. Yogi starts seeing samsara as a cause of dukkha, cause of suffering. And this is the first level of pragya, first level of buddhi, intellect, that is needed to be a yogi from the bhogi. So I hope you understand this and start seeing and analyzing. Don't take my word for it. Don't take anybody else's word for it that what is the purpose of life. Just do your own experiment. Learn from your own experience. That is how Vairagya is cultivated in you. If money was absolutely everything, then Buddha would not have left the house. If money, palace, kingdom, lots of servants, nice food all the time, if that would have been suffice, if that would have been the reason, that could have been the reason for everlasting happiness, he wouldn't have left his house. So did a lot of other people, even including me. We wouldn't have become Vairagi in the first place if samsara was the cause of happiness. If samsara could give everlasting happiness, people will not become Vairagis, dispassionate towards samsara, towards objects and subjects in samsara. Right? So do your own experiment. Come up with anything and let me know what you come up with. Anything that defies this principle that an Atma, the real you, does everything for your own hit. And if you do not understand the difference between being compassionate, charitable, being compassionate and charitable does not mean harming yourself. Doing charity, doing philanthropy, doing charity, giving compassion, extending your compassion and kindness and love to somebody else does not mean harming yourself. Okay? So think about these things. What is the purpose of life? And develop this first level of intellect, first level of pragya and buddhi. Develop this. Start truly seeing what is it that gives suffering to everybody in the life. What are the causes of suffering? And what is it that truly can give everlasting happiness? What are the causes for permanent happiness in life? Namaste. Jai Shivaya.